Bro, I don't even know what to title this, man, but I sincerely hope that my fellow viewers do not end up in this situation. Please, 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 please. I implore you, do not date somebody like this. How's it going, guys? It's Bagpipe, the one-stop shop for college app slop. And while I do make fun college-related videos, I also provide college consulting services that have helped students get accepted into schools such as, but not limited to, Harvard, MIT, Duke, Cornell, Dyson, UPenn, Wharton, Dartmouth, U Chicago, and UC Berkeley Haas. So yeah, if you guys want anything like college admissions consulting services, then feel free to let me know. All right, enough of that. Let's get to this. This fucking. I don't even know what the hell to call this level of delusion, man. I just. I'm just gonna read this to you like a bedtime story or something, and then you guys can just let me know what you think in the comments below, because I need that comment section engagement for that sweet, sweet algorithm boosting syrup. Okay, so yeah, let me just start reading. My 28M Ivy educated girlfriend, 28F, is an elitist about my education, refuses to apologize. TLDR, my girlfriend is elitist about school and has always held it over me. Also, randomly insults me, and her defense is always that she is joking. I apologize in advance if I sound like I'm whining about trivial problems. I just want to hear outside opinions. And for the record, I know many people who go to average schools are very smart and become successful. My father is a prime example. Very true. My girlfriend went to a top Ivy League university. Think T3 in the US. Jesus Christ. I went to a very small liberal arts college. Think top 3 liberal arts, top 15 all colleges. Damn. I worked extremely hard to get into that school. Near perfect test scores, all A's and APs, extracurriculars, etc. My girlfriend also worked just as hard, but is first generation. Her parents are successful engineers. In conversation, I referenced the idea of something going to an average college. She gave me a condescending look the moment I mentioned this, like you. Annoyed with this response, I confronted her. What do you mean, like myself? My college was pretty much just as selective as yours. Well, it might be just as selective, but that's only because there were a small pool of applicants. Besides, I was just joking. Me. That logic makes no sense. And saying you're joking doesn't excuse the elitist asshole remark. That wasn't an attempt to be funny. This conversation has come up previously, and she never apologizes for viewing her undergrad as superior to mine. She has always held it up as some sign of superiority. Am I going too far in refusing to speak to her until I get an apology? For some reason, she always likes to bring me down and then say she is joking. For example, on that same walk, she joked that I didn't look like an athlete, even though I was a varsity athlete in college and continue to work out every day. Jesus Christ. These jokes are always thinly veiled insults, and she defends herself by saying I'm just too sensitive. Yeah. Okay, so let's do a little exercise. Okay, so you guys ready? Take a look at OP's remark about the kind of school he went to. He went to a T15 small liberal arts school, T3 for liberal arts ranking specifically. And I sometimes think that people forget this is actually an oppressive as fuck feat. Like, most people don't understand that just landing a T15 school, man, it's just. So, like, for someone like OP's partner to just call it an average school, it's just beans for brains. Just to demonstrate how wild this is, let's do this exercise, okay? Everybody take out a calculator. And this shit is basic, okay? So none of that sine or cosine shit. Let's just presume that this guy went to a T3 school. We could take Swarthmore just as an example. Liberal arts for T3, by the way, right? This is a school that has an acceptance rate of approximately 7%. Now, I don't know about you guys, but 7% sounds to me like a very small minority of students. Let's also take the stats. Oh, wow. Would you look at that? That's it's very average, right? Look, very average size. Okay, now, we could probably toss OP's girlfriend a bone, okay? This post was made like 5 years ago, and they were like 28 at that time. So let's just say, for instance, they were accepted 15 years ago. We should probably look at admissions data from like that time, right? So, would you look at that? In 2010, in order to get into Swarthmore, you had to be cracked. Uh, what's that I see there? Acceptance rate through the years. Oh, would you look at that? It's still freaking hard. I wouldn't have guessed from a freaking T15, but no, that is just crazy talk, right? That it can't possibly be true. Only normies get into top 15s. We're strong and independent and deserve somebody who goes to a T3, right? So let's just throw another bone, okay? Let's just say that this is just Swarthmore and OP attended a different T15. We could even take Vasar, okay? Currently, and I think this is something we all know, everybody there is freaking smart. Back then, everyone was still freaking smart. It's not like, they're not like taking light Yagami or some shit, but like, bro, like, it's certainly not average, okay? You don't need to really think too hard to know that a T15 in general is going to be competitive. But Bagpipe, you may ask, she said she's just joking. No, she is not. How do I know? Because this is what OP clarifies in one of his comments. Inclined to agree. For the record, I went to the same university for grad school and earned 5 times as much as her. But if I bring that up, she either says, well, I can just as easily marry some rich doctor, or you clearly don't value the work I do. It's infuriating. What the fuck? What in the girl math fuck is this, dude? I could just marry a rich doctor. Like, you could just find someone who happened to go through the shit show that is medical school down the street, and they're not going to come out of the other end of medical school totally weird and out of their mind. Like, you just go to the local Walmart and there's just some handsome, wealthy doctor there just waiting for you. Like, what the what what is this my 60 IQ life shit? Like, finding a partner in this modern climate is hard already, right? Especially since we're in a loneliness crisis. That's why everybody, you're going to take out your calculators again. Okay? You're going to take out your fucking protractors or whatever, right? Cuz we're going to calculate the hypotenuse of this brain damage. So, according to my measurements, you're saying you could just casually pick up some rich doctor, despite how challenging it is to even become a doctor at all, let alone have someone who's at the top percentile of earners amongst doctors in the wake of a loneliness epidemic. And you could just pick them up easy, like, and they're also more fit than a varsity athlete, right? And they're also from as prestigious of an institution as the one that you're attending, right? Like, in other words, trivially, as shown by my proof, it's obvious for the elementary mind to conclude, the standard model holds true, that college maxers are out of their prestige whoring, money chasing, syrup slurping minds. Now, apologies, because that's a little bit of, an aside to point, but, like, anybody who says, oh, I'm just joking about a constellation of parallel problems, such as this, is probably not joking. Especially if you don't apologize, knowing your own partner is uncomfortable with it. That's like freaking sus. You know what that reminds me of? It's like these people who, like, they do this thing, right? Where they're like, I'm not racist or anything, but... And then they say the most racist shit ever. Like, okay, not gonna lie. If somebody said they had, like, a set of inside jokes, like, in between them and their friends, right? Like, their inner circle, and they both called each other stupid in that, like, kind of like self-denigrating way, right? Like, they don't even mean it, right? Like, it's like that tsundere shit, right? Like, yeah, okay, whatever, right? Like, it doesn't really matter, right? It's already instantiated. But just listen to this shit, right? Look at this, right? Your partner says, hey, man, it hurts me that you're trying to make a joke about this. I don't like it. Please stop. She doesn't stop. It's like, okay, man. That's probably gonna get the bagpipe senses tingling, right? Like, the hell you mean? You got some unconscious, like, resentment or some shit? You know what kind of feeling I get from this person, right? It's like, she's like one of those, like, I need the perfect K-pop looking boyfriends from the manhwas kind of people. like, like they read just one Direction fan fiction or something. It was like I got kidnapped by stray kids or something, right? And then they started asking themselves, like, bro, what the heck? Where's my 10 out of 10 boyfriend kidnapping it, right? Like, this is ass. And that resentment, it's just like, it just manifests in all these, like, hard to contain jokes, right? That just, like, bleed out of her, right? It just, like, bleeds out of her speech in, like, some kind of, like, fatal truth. You know what, dude? You know what OP should have done, right? He should have thrown that varsity athlete shit right back at her, right? Like just like some Tony Soprano shit, right? Like, yeah, you must have been top of your fucking gym class. Everybody say you got to get some Ivy League varsity bullshit. It's bad for business. I always tell him, Christopher, Paulie, and especially my daughter Meta, my fucking daughter, going to Columbia University. It doesn't matter what the fuck school you go to. Okay. So I'm not gonna try to bully them that hard. Okay, like I'll try to at least be nice a little bit. Okay, give some advice, and then hopefully that'll at least be somewhat helpful. So I actually think the college maxing mindset, like especially the pursuit of prestige, is seen through OP's partner. Like this shit's like pretty freaking toxic, right? We can all agree on that. And it's not as easy as just saying like, oh, just don't pursue prestige, right? Or just don't prestige horror. Because like, let's be real. That's a pathology that's probably very hard to undo. College maxers usually have been chasing that syrup all their lives. It's like deep in their veins. And some anime character online isn't going to undo years and years of pathology. You know what's worse? I'm actually pretty sure this prestige whoring spreads into other shit like a virus. Like personally, I actually have some friends. They're kind of like big car guys, right? You know those. You know how people are just like really, really, really into cars or really into planes, right? Or whatever, right? Like it's just like, oh my god, my big Ram truck, oh yeah, like they just can't let that go, right? It's just like I know people who like they couldn't settle for like a shitty beater car, right? Like they just weren't okay with something that could just take them from like point A to point B because they just like had to have a nicer car that was like a status symbol, right? Like, bro, that prestige brain, man, it just like infects everything you do. Like, okay, so personally for me, I'm pretty interested in business and entrepreneurship, right? And not gonna lie, some parts of business are just like less glamorous and impressive. Like there's like dirty work. Every business has its dirty dishes. So for me, that was like marketing. The Steve Jobs turtleneck and sneakers wearing idea, that kind of shit. Like just like being the idea guy, right? Who doesn't do shit. That was fun, right? Marketing though, that shit was boring as fuck. Like same goes for anybody who like I don't know if we have any art or like digital art kind of guys, right? Like but there's always going to be some dirty dishes, all right? Like like how's that back end shit looking to your game, right? Oh, you didn't touch it for 7 years, someone's got to fix it, right? Like like how's that art account going, right? Yeah, you're gonna work on those fundamentals and practice anatomy. No, you want to be a streamer, you're just gonna script some shit instead of tweeting all the time, right? No. Like everything's got boring shit, right? Like there is no perfect paradise. There's always going to be something that's like less prestigious to actually do in a task. And I actually think like prestige whoring gets in the way of that like so much, right? Because like you build this fantasy of like what your dream job or your school or game release or VTuber debut or whatever the hell it is, right, is going to look like in your head. And you're never actually satisfied because it's always like less than that, right? This golden prestigious object that you made up in your head, that like dirty work needs to get the ball rolling in order for that to actually get instantiated. Like, okay, honestly, like I think that's probably why people procrastinate a lot, right? They just wake up with this like fantasial idea that they'll do like uphill sprints in the morning, take cold showers, and like work super hard, like oh yeah, so buff, right? Like it's just like. But like you can't settle for any of that weak shit, right? Like you're probably like thinking like, oh my god, like I want to be a great writer, right? Like but I got to start with like baby steps, right? Like what is this, like reading Rainbow? It's like beneath me, right? Someone of my caliber has to start off with an epic fantasy novel that spans 1,200 pages. I'm not starting with something small, like just crashes and burns after 2 days. Like okay, man, I think personally, right, a lot of the prestige whoring mentality can be removed if people just suspended this like romanticized idea of like what things are like. It just with anything in general, right? It doesn't even have to be college related. It could just be with tasks, your work, like just to get anything done at all, right? Okay. So if any of you guys are really struggling with prestige whoring, or you're like so obsessed with prestige, but you just can't get it out of your mind, right? I can probably recommend a shitload of stuff, but I'm just gonna start with like one. Okay, so I recommend just starting with actually thinking through what the feeling of not having prestige is like. So that doesn't sound like it's going to make sense, right? Because you're probably going to imagine, like, bro, most college maxing prestige whores are always thinking about what would happen if they didn't earn prestige, right? And it's like, kinda. Um, I think what usually happens is people think in this hyperbolized, just heightened emotional perspective, I guess is what you could call it. So, as an example, if you imagine what it's like to go for like no boba or no fatty food for 3 days, you're probably going to think that's like ass, right? But you'll notice that you could actually do totally fine. This happens actually, like, if you're on like a flight from like one country to another, you think like, oh my God, it's like going to be so horrible, right? But like you actually end up surviving at the end of the day and you're like, oh, it's not that bad, right? It just sucks in the moment. Like, take that same principle and just expand it to scale. So how bad would your life actually be if you didn't earn the prestige you wanted? And by the way, don't just habitually jump to the conclusion that it's going to be hell. Like just actually sit there and process and like ruminate for a few minutes, right? Ruminate on like how bad is it really gonna be to get rejected from a top school. Don't just like jump to that conclusion, like, oh my God, like it's gonna be bad, right? And then like just try to avoid that like feeling, right? You're probably gonna get like just thoughts like, oh my God, everyone's gonna think I'm cringe, but I don't want to be based. Like it's like, okay, like, are you sure that's actually gonna happen, let alone, like, even matter that much? Keep in mind, I can't answer that for you, by the way, right? I can't be the one to just go like, "Oh my God, it's gonna be okay, bro. It's gonna be all right." You have to be the one to sit through that hypothetical and just really look at it. Not with hyperbole, but just go through all the motions that would happen in your head. So chances are, and like I can't exactly say that this is gonna be the same for everybody. You have to see for yourself, but chances are you're going to notice it's not as bad as you think. So let's say, like, biggest nightmare, okay? You don't have a perfect anime girlfriend. Oh my God. No. Like, think about that for a bit, right? You don't have a normal, you're going to have a normal flesh girlfriend or boyfriend or whoever, right? Who isn't digital. They're not multimillionaires. And sometimes they're not going to get your jokes. Sometimes you guys are going to get into arguments. They piss and they shit, right? Is that actually the end of the world? Same goes for cool stuff, right? So eating whatever you want or being a superior STEM major, so to speak, right? Like, oh my God, yeah, major in STEM, right? Like, is it actually going to be all that it's made out to be? It might feel nice in the moment, but it just kind of dies down, right? In the same way that lack of prestige just sort of dies down. You get to your second and third year and that like high just like starts to dissipate, right? So follow through with the negative emotions to its entirety, right? It's just like go through and follow through with it. You don't have to fight it, just accept it. Don't avoid it. And you'll probably notice that reality is often more boring than you thought. Okay. That's about it for this one, guys. Thanks so much for sticking with me, y'all. And of course, if you guys want anything like college consulting or essay help, feel free to reach out via email in the description box below. See you later, you algorithm boosting, prestige whoring, T15 hating, rich doctor chasing, standard model proving, syrup slurping, bad for business, beans for brains, goobers.